but it's definitely changed. Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare and sometimes self-care. So if that's your vibe, please consider hitting subscribe. And the day has come for me to finally share with you all my thoughts on the reformulated Illiyoon Ceramide 8 Concentrate Cream. Now, you know this moisturizer has been my holy grail since 2019. I've been incredibly loyal to it. I have recommended it on this channel so much. I know so many of you love and appreciate it too. And I know so many of you are wondering what's going on with this reformulation. Is it better? Is it worse? Like, Kelly, you need to tell us all of your thoughts right now. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm going to break down the differences here between the older version and now the reformulated version. We're going to go through texture and performance. And ultimately, I'm going to tell you, has my mind changed on this moisturizer? Is it still a holy grail? Is this reformulation, is this a step up, or is it a step down? Give the video a big thumbs up because you're about to find out. All right, let's break down this reformulation first with the ingredients list. And when I compare them side by side, I noticed three big differences here. In the newer version, we have less silicones, we have more emollients, and we also have more barrier supportive ingredients. So the past version of the Illiyoon cream did use 3 different types of silicones, which definitely brings some emollients into the moisturizer, but also contribute to that kind of occlusivity that you feel. The newer version, the updated version, now is only using 1 silicone, dimethicone. Now, you may kind of jump to the conclusion that it means that the moisturizer is actually less occlusive. I would say hold off on that assumption just yet. The ingredients list can only tell us so much. These are kind of clues, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the end product is going to be. So let's keep that in our back pocket. Now, they're also using a lot more emollients here. I'm wondering if they've added more emollients to help with the ceramide capsules, which I will talk about in just a second. But that's just a hunch that I have. Now, I have noticed a change in some of the barrier supportive ingredients here. The older version, if you remember, uses lab-made ceramides. It's really easy to spot them on the ingredients list if you just look for the MEA in the ingredients list. These are actually lab-made ceramides that mimic the properties of ceramide NP. In the reformulated version, we do still have MEA, but we do also have the addition of ceramide NP. So I would say that's, a nice bonus. I also noticed phytosphingosine on the ingredients list, which is a great barrier supportive ingredient. This is a lipid that's actually like a precursor to ceramides. It is naturally found in your skin's lipid layer in your barrier. Your body naturally makes it, and it is actually a cell communicating ingredient that is all about barrier support. So it's really nice to see it in this moisturizer because this is definitely something that has helped me with a weak moisture barrier and something that has helped me a lot with dehydration, which is a symptom of a weakened barrier. So I actually appreciate that they're really kind of leaning into that and sort of upping the ante, if you will, with more barrier supportive ingredients. One other little hunch that I had about this reformulation, because you may be like me, why mess with a good thing, right? I mean, this is one of the best moisturizers I've ever tried, and yeah, I was definitely a little bit nervous about the changes that they made. I did notice on the reformulated bottle, they are pushing that this is a vegan product. Now that's kind of interesting because I do think the original version was probably already vegan. I'm not exactly sure because you never know the source, of ingredients, right? So I don't know that 100%, but I think it might have already been. But if it was not, I wonder if that was a driving factor behind the reformulation, because as you probably know, veganism within skincare and using only vegan ingredients is a really hot trend right now. And it really has gotten to the point of vegan washing. This is the new evolution of green washing, or of like clean beauty, right? Nothing against vegan skincare at all, but you do have to understand that it is like a marketing tactic at this point, and it's definitely smart for brands to use that and put that front and center on their bottles because it's going to sell more, because this is something people are more interested in these days. So Again, this is just my hunch. I don't know this for sure. I don't have all the facts that line up, but it's just a hunch that I had because this is definitely a big trend. There's a lot of money behind vegan skincare, and this product is claiming that it is vegan. Now, one thing the Illiyoon Ceramide cream is really well known for is having these flakes or these capsules in the cream. And this is actually a delivery system for the ceramides. This helps keep the ceramides more efficacious, fresh, and effective for your skin, and it helps to deliver them deeper into your skin where they can be more effective. So I always say, like, is that marketing? Is it actually helpful? I don't really know, but this is actually really a claim to fame for the Illiyoon cream. Now, let me tell you, I have used this cream, I said, since 2019. I've gone through many bottles. The very last bottle that I had, like middle of 2021, I will say I've never really felt the flakes. You know, the capsules, when I'm putting the cream on my skin, I've never really felt them until my very last bottle. Now, I know there was a tweak in the formula somewhere within that time period, and I noticed that the flakes were a little bit harder. They didn't hurt by any means, but they're just more noticeable, and they definitely took a little bit more elbow grease to work into your skin. I was like, this is different, but I didn't mind it too terribly much. Now with this reformulation, they've definitely addressed that, because you'll see that the capsules are actually smaller and they're more sphere shaped than the originals were a little bit more, like I called them, flakes. These are definitely smaller and they disappear within just a little bit of working it into your skin. They're gone. They melt into your skin. So they've really addressed this. I think that they've done a really good job. I do not feel them at all in the cream. So this is definitely a step up in the texture department with the reformulation. Let me show you this side by side. All right, so I've got the new version here, and I'm going to show you how this applies, because it actually is a little bit more creamy. And you can't really see the capsules, but they are there when you do a close-up. And you'll notice that the capsules, you don't really feel them on your skin. They're much finer, and they seem to melt, if you will, much quicker. And this does feel kind of creamy and buttery and melty on the skin. It feels a little bit more rich, a little bit more moisturizing. It actually feels really nice. It's got good absorbency, but definitely feeling a lot more moisture with this one. And then once it dries down, it does have an occlusive feel to it that I don't detect on the original. The original does have occlusivity, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like as much. So they've definitely taken it up a step with the occlusivity, but I would still classify this as a medium weight moisturizer. All right, going in for the older version, and it's interesting because the cream itself looks a little bit thicker than the new version, but I do actually think it has just a slightly lighter feel on the skin. Now, I will admit, I can actually feel the capsules from the old version. So that's definitely something that they've upgraded in the newer version. The capsules definitely do melt down a lot quicker. They're smaller and they're less perceptible on the skin. So I do find that to be a nicer improvement in the newer version. This version, the older version, doesn't feel quite as moisturizing, quite as rich. It's got a nice balanced feel on the skin, and they both do feel like the same weight. They both do still feel medium on the skin, but this definitely has a little bit of a lighter kind of a feel in comparison. Honestly, the biggest differences between these two for me really is the occlusivity level. The new version already on my skin, I can feel it's got much more of a protective layer on my skin, which feels good now because it's kind of cool. It's a little bit dry. We're in the very early days of spring, and so definitely still cooler weather, and my skin appreciates that little bit more protective layer. The original probably just one notch down, 10% less occlusive. It's really quite neck and neck, but we are being picky here, and it definitely is less occlusive. So that could go either way for different skin types, right? But that's the biggest difference here. A little bit more moisture, maybe a little bit more heft, nourishment, and definitely more occlusivity on the newer version with, more of an elegant feel with the capsules. They definitely do melt down a lot faster. color. The older version, a little bit lighter, a little less occlusive, but we did have that drawback with the capsules being a little bit harder to melt down and get to absorb into the skin. All right, let me wrap it up with my thoughts about the performance of this cream, because the ingredients and the texture definitely told us a lot, but at the end of the day, it's about what it does for your skin. And you know, I will say what was really magical for me about the original formula is that it really just like had this perfect balance of being a really nice medium weight cream that wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't so moisturizing that it was heavy or greasy on my skin. It had just the right amount of occlusivity to fight dehydration for me, but it didn't like seal my skin off. And it had this really beautiful neutral finish. Like I always say, it moisturizes inside of your skin, not on the top of your skin. It just had a really nice absorption and just like a really nice finish on the skin. And I loved that about this cream. But as you saw from the demo and from the textures, this is definitely more moisturizing. And as I said, it's about 10% more occlusive on the skin. And I have to say, my skin actually still really likes this, like a lot. I benefited a lot from the testing period, and actually right before I received the cream in my latest Style Vana order, I was actually feeling really dry around my chin area. This was like my classic area where I get just a little bit more dry than the rest of my skin. And in fact, it was kind of getting to the point where in the middle of the afternoon, I was putting a little extra layer of moisturizer on, like around 4 o'clock, because I was just feeling so dry. And I started using the Illiyoon cream, and within a few days, I realized I wasn't putting on my afternoon chin moisturizer anymore. I didn't need it. It was just that extra amount of moisture, just that extra amount of occlusivity that was really benefiting my skin and fighting that afternoon dryness. So I was like, even still, you know, the Illiyoon cream is still, providing for my skin. It's still performing and it's still surprising me. And I've really been enjoying it. But like I said, there are differences here. I cannot deny it. I can't just sit here and be like, yeah, still holy grail status. It's great. Nothing's changed. It's still great. I still really like this. I'm still going to recommend it, but it's definitely changed. And like I said, it's more moisturizing. It's more occlusive. And really, for me, the beauty of Illiyoon, the original formula, was that it was able to work for so many different skin types, because I even could use it year round. My skin is combination, but it fluctuates between what I would call combination dry and combination oily, right? Those are two very different kinds of things, right? With the seasons, it just depends. And whether I was feeling more combination on the dry side or combination on the oily side, the Illiyoon cream still performed for me. The original version did. This newer version, I'm not so sure is going to perform for me when I'm feeling more oily combination. I feel like it might just be a hair too thick, like a hair too occlusive for me. That's my suspicion, but hit me up in a couple of months and find out after I've gone through the summer. See if I'm reaching for this cream or not. I have a suspicion I won't be, but you never know, right? So I'm going to kind of leave that one a little bit open, but my suspicion here is the reformulation is not going to walk that beautiful balance for a majority of skin types. If you were a little bit more combo oily and you were still appreciating, Illiyoon, this reformulation may not be right for you. Proceed with caution. Skin is so individual. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to think of it, but I think if anybody's going to be unhappy with the reformulation, I think it's going to be that category of people, because it is a little bit heftier. It is a little bit more moisturizing. It is a little bit more, you know what I mean, on the skin. But for me, I'm still loving it. Like I said, my skin is still benefiting from it. I was really surprised. I didn't know what to expect. The upgrade in the capsules was really nice. I'm glad that they did address that. And I'm enjoying it. I would still call it a holy grail status for me, definitely. But I do mourn the original formulation, the loss of that just a little bit. TLDR, my thoughts on the Illiyoon reformulation. This is still a really great medium weight cream, but the new version definitely has a little bit more emolliency to it, and it definitely is about 10% more occlusive on the skin, meaning I think if you're a little bit more on the oily side with your skin type and you liked the original, you may not enjoy or appreciate this reformulation. It may feel just about about 10% too heavy on your skin. Proceed with caution. But this is still going to be my recommendation if you are combination skin, maybe leaning a little bit more towards the dry side, appreciate a little bit more emolliency. If you are dehydrated, this is still something that you want to take a look at because the formula here is still really good for barrier care. It's still really great at fighting dehydration, which is a little extra moisture thrown into the mix. All right, so I gotta know, have you tried this yet? I feel like I was a little late to the party, but I will admit I did wait for about a month for my order. So let me know in the comment box below, have you tried the reformulated version? What do you think? And if this video helped you out, please do consider hitting subscribe if you're new here and you're not subscribed already. I release a lot of new skincare content throughout the week, just like this video. So do consider turning on notifications too, so you're never out of the loop when I drop the new videos. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.